Today we are going to start our programming, and we are going to look at how to communicate from front end to back end. For front end, we are going to be using JavaScript programming language. For back end, we are going to look at PHP first, and later we are going to look at JavaScript and Node.js, which is a main stack, JavaScript to JavaScript. Thereafter, we may look at JavaScript and Python. So it's a way of just communicating from our front end to our back end, and we'll see the way to go by it. So I'm not going to talk more about the CSS because we have covered HTML and CSS. So I'll just go straight into the code. Now this is what we are going to do. We are going to fill this form and send it to API, and the API will send it to our database. So let's say here I have Daniel Okocha, for example, and for my email I have Daniel at yahoo.com. For my password I have password. If I submit, I get a message from the backend that the submission is successful. Then my Bootstrap also give me updates because I use the Bootstrap alerts. That's the beauty of Bootstrap here. So instead of me writing long CSS, the Bootstrap will just help me out. So let's look at the code. So let me divide this so that we can see clearly. Okay, now for the JavaScript, we don't have anything inside. I'll just put only a alert so that we'll see that our JavaScript is working. For our HTML, I just copy this boilerplate from Bootstrap. I use a link in the head for my styling, which is Bootstrap. I still use my basic styling here to just show the width and height of the page. Then the Bootstrap is the one that handles the styling of the form. All these are just form elements. All these are form materials. So what we need to pay attention to, we only have three inputs here. We have the name. You can see the inputs here. We have name, which is a text. We have name, which is a text here. This is the only thing we need here. Then we have the email, this line, which is also a text. Then we have the password, this line, which is the password. So if you look at it, it has ID. The attribute, we have ID, and we have name. For JavaScript, we are targeting the ID. Then we have the button. You look at the body too has ID. Now there are various ways by which we can manipulate these HTML elements, by which we can use JavaScript to target them. Now we are going to be looking at them later, but we just want to do practice first. Later I'll be talking about the various methods for DOM manipulation. I mean the document object model. All of these are a model, they are a tree. We have get element by ID, just like our CSS, where we use the hashtag to target the ID on the page. For JavaScript, we use get element by ID to get it. Then for classes, we use query selector, document.query selector. Then for classes, we use document.get element by class name. You can also use document.get element by tag name, and you can use document.query selector. Or when I'm explaining the code, the programming code in detail, I will go into that. But today we'll be looking at how to target this, write code, pass data from form, and send it to the backend. Now the name here, the ID here is name for the name input. The ID for email is also email. The ID for password is password here, and the ID for the button is register. Alright, so now I'll go into the code. So when I go into the code, you already know what I am targeting. So I come to my JavaScript, nothing is here, you can see. So if I come in here now, if I refresh my page, I get this alert you. This is alert you, just for me to know that my JavaScript is working. For JavaScript, we don't need any installation. Once you just open a file and save it as the javascript.js, the system will identify it as JavaScript. There is no installation for JavaScript. So let's go. The first thing we are going to do is to target our button. So let's pick our button. Let's JavaScript pick our button. So I'm going to use constant btn submit. Let me call it btn submit is equal to document dot get element. It's going to be suggesting for me. So let me even maximize it so we can see it. So I pick the name. The name there is register. So I pick register. So this way I've already targeted the button. So I can, anytime I want to do an action on the button, I'll just pick this btn submit. Now the next thing I need to also target is the response. For example, if you look at the HTML here, I copy bootstrap alert message. This is it here. This one, this alert, and here I give it an ID of alert sources, and I set display none, so it won't show on the page. So let's go back to our JS. We're also going to target that. So to target that, I'll say let sources be equal to the same thing, document dot get element by ID, since I use ID to hook it. So we pick it, so that's I call it alert sources. That's the name there. So the next thing is to see when I click the button, there should be an action. So I'm going to pick my btn now. Btn dot I'm going to add action to it, and one of the actions is add event listeners. So the event listeners is going to listen to when user click it. So I'm going to use click. Then the function that it will do, I'm going to say function. First of all, I don't want it to refresh, so I'm going to do something about that. So that's why I'm putting that E there, and I will say E dot prevent default. You can see this IntelliSense is giving it to us. So when we click that button, we should know that that button is activated. For example, if I click the button, I don't say, let's just say button clicked. So if I go to my HTML here and I say open with live server, so I'm here now. So if I click this now, button clicked. So we can see that we have actually targeted that button. So let's come back. We don't need it. I just use it to show that when we click that button, so we are able to go. The next thing now we are going to target is the input. Like if you come here now, the name, this one, let's target this name. So the name here, the ID here is name. The one for email is email. So we'll go back to our JS and also target it. So I'm going to say let name be equal to document dot get element by ID. We are going to be using other DOM manipulation later, other method later. So let me say here name Then I can duplicate this for the remaining 3 items that we have on the page, so I can repeat them. So the next one is email, so I pick my email and the ID here is email. Then I pick my password. The ID on the HTML page is password. Now if I want to see what I have done here, I can alert it out for me to see. For example, let's say when I click it, I want to see the name that is there, so I can alert, so we see what the user has filled. So if I say name dot value, so we see what the user has selected. So let's take a look at it. So if I refresh, this is it. So here, if I say now to Shuku, for example, to Shuku, and I click this, we see it alerted to Shuku for us. So we are good to go. So I'm targeting, so I can pick it. So then if I want to get the email as well, I can alert email.value. So if I alert email.value, I come to this thing again, and I put my email. Let's say I say to Shuku at gmail.com, and I click it. So I'm getting my email, so I've already targeted that. So let's say I want to also see the information from the password section. Let's see, I'm just alerting it so we see what we are doing. In case there is an error, we'll know. So let's say I just say password, and I click this button. I also see my password. Good. So the next thing now, we have gotten what we need from the page. The next thing now is to send the data to backend. So I'll put a comment here. I'll say send the data to send the data to API. So we are going to write an API that is going to collect this data, and that API will be in another programming language, and that's when we look at PHP. So now the next thing we are going to do now is to send all these parameters, all these variables, to send them to the backend. Now to do that, we have various methods of sending data, of sending parameters from our website to another website or to API. So we have what we call the form data API with fetch. Fetch is a method for sending data, and fetch comes with post method. Post is when we are sending data in. Then we have the get method, that's when we are picking data from the backend, and we have the put method, that's when we are updating information. Then another method that we can also use to send data to the backend is the URL encoding string. We're going to be looking at them. And the other method we can use is the one called object.fromEntries method. So the one I prefer using the most, which is easier, especially when we are uploading images and uploading videos, is this form data API with fetch. So let's see how to do that. So the form data, first we are going to convert all these variables. We are going to convert them to objects. So I'm going to say constant form data is equal to new, which is an existing, this is inbuilt function. You can see new inbuilt function. This is the inbuilt function. This is the new inbuilt function. This is my own name. So now I'm going to append what we have here to this form data. So I'm now going to say form data dot append. I'm adding each of these to it, so it's going to append them. Then the name that I'm going to send to the API, I'll still use the same thing. This is the one in comma is the name. I'll go to the API. Then the name here, the item I'm picking is also named here. The one in quote is what the API is reading. So let's move to the next one. I can just duplicate it and use it for the 3 item we have there. So if I paste, so this one will be my password. This is what the backend is targeting, and if we made a mistake here, it will not see it. Let me call it email first. Then here will be email. This is the name here. This is the name here. So if I change this name, I will also change this one here. Then this is the one the API will get. So I'll call this one password and this one password. The password here, I can as well change this one now. I can say this is my JavaScript. So if I change this one to my JavaScript password, so this one would be JavaScript password. So you know the difference. This is one I'm picking here. This is one that is going to the API. So it's just for explanation, but I like using it this way. So let me come back. So this is password. Now that we have picked that, the next one now, okay, I'm going to do name.value. Remember, I highlighted it with email.value, then password. Oh no, there's an error there. So here I have password dot value. So we are good to go. So we already have all the information that we need. So I'm going to use a try catch in case there is an error, so I can pick what is going on. So I'm going to be explaining that later. So let's the result that will be from our API, let's just make it, and to initialize it, let's make it an empty string first. So later we'll be populating it. Then let's declare the API itself. Response is equal to, I'm going to make it here my button click. I'm going to add asynchronous here. I'll be explaining that one later. So I'm going to use our wait function here. So await, then fetch. This is a method that will post it to the API. So let's go. So I need to get my localhost address here. I think my localhost address is http localhost /API. I think I call it API demo. I'm going to be looking at that in a short while. And I think the page is this time. Then after that, I need to also specify the method I'm posting. So I will use method is post. So here we will post. I'm going to put a comma here. Then the body, that's my form data, what is going to send to the API. So this form data that I declare here. So that's my form data. So that's all. So simple. We are done already. So the next thing now is to try and get the response. So for our response, I already initialize results here. So I'll just pick results. So result will be equal to, I'm going to wait for it and get it here. I'll wait. So it's going to be response, which is what I declare here, this constant that I display here. This is the response from our API. Response dot using test, can be JSON, using test for simplicity. So if we have the results, then we should not talk to we should not have it on, either we get alerts, you can get an alert, you can alert the result. So we can alert our results. So let's alert the result so we can see it. Then I also target the div, which is the, if we look at this place, this one I say display none. I'm going to make it to make it visible now. This div, which is alert sources, I'm going to make it to be visible. So here I'm going to say that I declare it here, up here, I target it here to be sources. So I'm going to target it here now, that sources dot text content is going to be the content of it. It's going to fill in the content, and I'll say congratulations, registration successful. So now we now need to open it so that we can see, because we make it hidden. So I will now attach a CSS style here. Now say CSS dot this sources dot style. Beginning, I'm injecting CSS inside my JavaScript. Style dot display like my normal CSS is equal to block. So it's going to show and put this message inside. So that's what this text content stands for. So but supposing the coming, so if it's okay, did I use if result here? So here, if I need to use conditional statement here, if results, I can have this. Okay. So this is for the try section. So else if I have challenge from the API, then it should tell me that there is an issue. So I'm going to say submission failed. Then I should get why it failed to give me the results. I'm going to use this to concatenate it. So then these result X, because I use try catch here, so I need to come to the end of my try. So I need to catch it in case there is an error. So let me catch the error. So I have my error. Then I'm going to open this. Then alert. That is error. So alert error. That's error. Then I need to concatenate what the real error is. I want to see what the error is. So that's all. We can also console it. You can see it from when we inspect it, console.log. That's another way. Instead of using alert, you can use console.log to see it. So if I say console.log error, I can see the error. This one too that I alert, I can also console.log to see it. I think that is all. So let's see if there is any curly braces I missed out. I don't think so. This is where we start from, and this is where we end it. So we start from where we end it. So with this, let's now, it's up to save. So let's go to our browser. Let me refresh this. Why is it not refreshing? So let me say I want to send in what will I say now? Ojuku Ikemba, and I said Ikemba at gmail.com, and I said Ikemba 1, 2, 3. submit. Error, network when attempting to fetch resource. So let's check what our error is. So where is it? Oh, I've started my server. Let me check. My server is on. This is local host. Let me see what the error is. Let me inspect it. This is what we have seen. So you come here and see what's happening. So it said once origin is allowed reading remote at HTTP localhost. I think there is an error with my address. Localhost API HTTP localhost. Let me check this. Interesting. So let me check if this is okay. Aha, there is an error with my address. HTTP localhost not found. Okay, let me check my address. Go to my desktop. ZPN demo. This is registered. Okay, let me come back here and check. Let me check my address again. This is localhost slash API dash demo register .php. Okay, so let me copy this. And come here, so let me replace it. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back to our page. Let me click. Successful. So it's the API I was having issues too, and I've been able to fix that. So congratulations. So you see, congratulations, registration successful. So let's send in another one. Let us say we have Kingsley or Moha. And I here and I said Kingsley@gmail.com, and I say here is Kingsley 123. So here and I click submit. So submission successful. It's also giving us the number we have in the database. Last inserted ID is 13. Then I also have it here. So that's how to handle communication between the front end and the back end. So we can check our back end. You can check the database. You can see what I send it now. This is Kingsley Onoha. This is Ojukwu Ikemba. And these are the other ones I've sent in before. So that's about that. So if we go over our code again, let me explain again. The first thing is to target our button, and that's what I did here. Like I said, our btn, this is get element by ID, the register button. Then the div that I used to get the alert is this one. Then I write a function. This asynchronous means is expecting a message from another end. That's why I use async. And when we use async, it must also have a wait here. Then I also get all the input elements. So I have input name, I have email, I have password. So I create a variable to store them. I use let name, let email, let password. I'll be explaining various ways to use this later. We have constants, we have let. I'll be telling you when and how to use them later. Then we have the form data, which is inbuilt form, and I append all these variables to the form data. So I send it as a post. The method here is a post. Another method could be guest, another method could be put. So, and my URL, that's my backend address, is this one. So I was having issue. I think I had a typo error with this when I send it initially. Then I get the response from the API. After getting the response, I said if we have the result, then it should give me this congratulations, registration successful. Then I also use the bootstrap div. We can also create our own div and style it the way we like. So we should display it, because in the form here I said it should be hidden. Here I said display none. I use CSS to do that, and I use JavaScript to say it should open it by display block. So that's if the result is successful, it will show and give us this message. We can put any message. In case we have an error from the API, we should get what the error is, and this is what I used to debug it. When I submitted initially, it was not going, and it told me about the API, so I was able to inspect it from the console. So in case you are doing job and it's giving error, you come to the console here. The console here will show what the error is, and you'll be able to identify the error. Then in case it did not even submit at all, that's why I use try catch. If the error is actually from the front end, so it's going to catch the error here, and we're going to see it here. So that's just all for this one. So the next video I will do, I may still do it this evening or maybe tomorrow, is the backend. So we are going to look at the PHP side, how we prepare that API to collect the parameter that is coming from another site, and how we are able to process it to the database. So that will be the next video I will send. So that's all for now.